Chris. Today we're going to talk about my new Lang smoker. For 10 to 12 years I've been cooking on a Lowe's, Home Depot smoker, char griller, 1/16 of an inch thick steel. But it did the trick. It worked. I've replaced the firebox twice. It's lasted, so I really have no complaints. Obviously it's a few $100, and it does the trick. But I was ready for an upgrade. So after a couple months researching, I came up with the Lang, and it's by far the best smoker on the market. Especially the fact it's a reverse flow smoker. So what happens, the smoke goes across here and comes this way. So everything's even. Unlike this smoker, anything from here to here was hot. So my smoking happened from here to there. Just because the firebox to the smoker is open. So what I really like about the Lang is it's 1/4 inch thick steel, and it'll probably outlast me and my son, who's videotaping this. Austin, wave to the camera for me. Thank you. So what I've done is I start with charcoal. Let me back up a little. I seasoned this last night. Again, I just got this last week. We work all week, so I seasoned it last night, exactly what Ben Lang told me to do on his website. You start out, you get it to around 300, you spray it down with oil first, you mist it. There's a few different variables in that, but I went ahead and did that, and then I seasoned it with some apple wood, which I don't really smoke with apple wood. I'm exclusively hickory, pecan if I can get it. That's really tough to get, but I do enjoy pecan. It's very mild. I've smoked with ash. Ash is prevalent in Michigan, a lot of dead ash. As you can see, we have a dead ash tree right there. But my favorite wood by far is hickory. So I start with charcoal, and from there we go ahead and we add a couple pieces of shagbark hickory. So we've done that. Now I'm waiting to get the temperature to around 250 to 275. Once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and put on a beef brisket. So we're going to stop right now, and we'll start back up when I get the beef brisket. Hello, I'm back. Right now the Lang is at 300 degrees. So what I'm going to do is shut the vents a little bit, just to drop it down between, like I said, 275 and 250. So I'm going to close them halfway. And now I'm going to add my brisket, which is basically seasoned with a special rub I use, which I really can't tell you any part of it. I can tell you it has a little bit of brown sugar, some salt, and that's it. Anything else, my wife's actually looking at me right now with evil eyes, because she holds that secret dearly. So what I'm going to do is just open the opener up and throw the brisket on now. Once I get it on, I'm going to actually add a thermometer to it. So I'm going to just pull this out a little bit. Again, this is the first piece of meat that has ever gone on this smoker, so I'm kind of excited. So it's a USDA choice brisket, nice little sear on it. So I'm going to keep everything even, that way it cooks even. I've cut some of the fat off. A lot of people don't, they like the fat. Myself, I'm not a huge fan of the fat. Plus, the seasoning seems to stick on the fat once the brisket's done, and again, that's really not what I like. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this with my dirty hands that I plan on cleaning. Lock this one, lock that, and we're going to just set it and forget it. And we'll be back when the brisket's done. Thanks. I just wanted to show you while you were gone, I've actually been cooking the brisket for approximately an hour, and now I've added 4 slabs of ribs, and I can show you. So we've added 4 slabs. So what I'm going to do now is just bring out the brisket and baste it with a little apple juice. I want that crust, I want that fat to kind of cook off. Again, I cut most of the fat off, but I did leave some. So we're just going to spritz it. I'm not going to spritz the ribs because they just went on. So probably in about a half hour to an hour, I'll come out and spray the ribs down. We're going to go ahead and shut this, lock it down. Maintain temperature, again, ideally 250 to 275. I've smoked ribs at 200, 225, 250, 275, 300. And I think 250 to 275 is probably the best temperature to cook at. And the next time around, I'll actually show you a helpful hint on when to know the ribs are done. So I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I'm back. It's probably, the brisket's been on, I would say maybe 5-6 hours. It wasn't a really big brisket, but I have an internal temperature of 180, so now I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to wrap it until it reaches around 190, 195. Looks really good. We got a nice bark on it. You can see it looks pretty awesome. So let's wrap the brisket. Oh, there we go. Put that right there. We're going to push this back in for now. I'm going to set this here. Looks really good. So what I want to do is make sure it's sealed properly with the thermometer in there. That way I can gauge exactly when this is going to be done. We don't want to dry it out at all. So we'll put it in there like that. We're going to double wrap this actually. Just again to seal in all the juices. So right now I'm wrapping it, double wrapping it, and I'm going to put it back on the smoker until we reach an internal temperature of around 195. When that's done, this thing should fall apart like a slow cooked roast. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks. Bye. Right now I'm going to wrap the ribs. We've probably been on the smoker for 3.5 hours. And again, I didn't trim these ribs, so the meat on top needed to cook. So let's take a look at them, see if they fall apart. And a good way to tell if ribs are done is if you grab the slab halfway. Now this is if you're completely smoking them. If you're wrapping them, you don't have to have them done. But they should break. Do you see how these are kind of falling and the meat is actually pulled away from the bone? That's a good sign that these are getting close to done. So what I'm going to do is I take the ribs and I have a little concoction here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll set a meat side down right on that. And then I'm going to grab another slab. Oh, you can see this is baby back. These are St. Louis cut. So I'm going to set those right on top like that. And I'm going to actually shut this. And I like to call it my double stack. I've heard of Texas stack, I've heard double stack, so I'm going to do it like this, wrap them, cook them at the same temperature for maybe 45 minutes, and these things should just fall apart. Granted, that's not competition style, they want a little pull to them, but myself, my family, we like the ribs to where they're kind of falling apart. So I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks. Bye. Hello all. Come on over here. I'll show you. The brisket's now done. So what I've done is I've started carving it, and I just want to show you how tender this actually is. If you look here, I'm just going to take a piece, and I want you to just look at the smoke ring on that. It's all the way around. We got a nice bark, and it just falls right apart. It's melt in your mouth tender. So honestly, this is one of the better briskets I've done, and this is the first time ever cooking on the Lang. And I have to say, I've ate all the barbecue in Michigan, and this is by far the best you'll ever get. So, let me just show you what I did. At 180 degrees, we wrapped the brisket. At 195 degrees, we pulled it off, we let it sit, we let the juices reconstitute into the brisket. And again, look at the juice here. Never get rid of this juice. This is really a key ingredient to a nice presentation on it. So what I plan to do is I'll just put this in this tray and I'll pour that juice over it. And again, it's just melt in your mouth tender. So I hope this helps with anybody out there that wants to know good barbecue. Thank you. Bye. Last time, guys. Ribs are done. Let's open them up and let's see how they look. These are from the Lang. Again, first time we had the brisket. Now we have 4 slabs, and I stacked 2 slabs, meat side down. One I use just a regular off-the-shelf barbecue sauce. The other I use a combination of brown sugar, some honeys. But let's just look at it. Let's open them up, and you can just see how gorgeous these actually look. Like I said, meat side down, so you can see how juicy they are. You can see how the bone and the meat is actually pulled back. And if I turn these over, I'm assuming they're just going to, the bones just fall right out. So that just tells you right there, these are some amazing, amazing ribs. And you can see how juicy everything is. I'll keep this liquid. We'll keep the ribs in it. We'll just carve it like that. But again, thank you, Lang, from Georgia all the way to Michigan. Again, my name's Chris Jackson from Troy, Michigan. And this is Lang Barbecue at its finest. So thank you. Have a good night.